Today's tips for Tuesday is brought to you straight from Nellie over at Bakery Central. She wants to know how they can automate customer onboarding over at Bakery Central. Here we are in Microsoft Forms. I just have a really simple form that I've created. You can have this form be anything you want. Things that are really important though to think about on what you're going to put on your form is what records or what areas do I want to have filled out in Business Central, right? So if you want to make sure that you have your customer email or your customer website, make sure you have that information on here. One thing that's important is up here in our settings, you want to make sure that you have it so that anyone can fill out this form, especially if it's going to be external facing. Otherwise, they'll get an error saying that they can't have access to this form. I'm going to start here by creating an automated flow, and my trigger is going to be when a new form is submitted. Here you'll see that I have a list of all my forms, but you want to identify the one that you created specifically for this. Now I'm going to add another action of get the response details from this form, because one is just a trigger and the other gets the information. I map the same form once again, and for my dynamic content in here, I'm just going to use this response ID. So it's saying when this form is submitted, go ahead and get the details for this specific one. Now, we can make this flow a lot more complex. For me internally, I have an approval set up from here before I have it automatically entered into my system, but we'll make it nice and easy to show you how you can just take an action right here and enter it into Business Central. Create record. This is where I would highly recommend that you use variables, but for now, I'm just going to go ahead and use Sandbox for my environment and then map my company to Cronus. Now here under the APIs, you can see that we have access to any custom APIs, but we're just going to use our standard V2 API and then identify that we want the customer table. You can see now that the table loads that it has 26 additional parameters. So if I click on here, I can just identify the different fields that I want to populate, and I'm just going to grab what it was that we filled out for our form. I can actually populate my information. So if I hit my dynamic content and hit my little lightning bolt, we'll see that I have the answers from that form. If I hit see more, I'll see the rest of the information. Let me go ahead and map in these details now. Obviously for display name, I'll put company name, address, we'll put address, and so on. That's it. Our flow can be that easy. Go ahead and rename our flow first. All right, so from here, I'm going to save this. And now for us to test it, we can't hit this button up here because it's waiting for whenever a form is submitted. So is go ahead and fill out the information on our form real quick here for Bakery Central as a new customer. Now that I have all this information filled out, I'll go ahead and hit submit. Now we can see that when we're in Business Central, I'm in my Sandbox, I'm in Cronus, we can see that we have Bakery Central. This is all the information that we already populated on the form. You may see though that we have some additional information as well, specifically our posting groups. The way that you can make sure that your posting groups also populate is first you're going to go into here and you're going to say configuration template. Now I've already created one, but basically I created this for a customer. And I've identified that I want it on my table 18 for my customer table. And then here I am able to map whatever fields I want. So there's a drop down of the different general business posting groups and our customer posting groups. So also populate any of this other information, or if you want to add more fields by selecting which one it is that you want on there and then populating it with a default value. What you'll do is you'll go to the API setup page. At my configuration template, I'm going to come over here to my API setup, and I've already added that I've got table 18 and that I want it to pull from this template. Make sure that your posting groups get filled out. As we can see, that was the most basic way that we could automate our customer onboarding. You could obviously make that flow a lot more complex or specific to whatever your onboarding needs are. What's even better about this is if you really love this process, but you're bummed because you're not using Business Central, guess what? The process is also available to all of my GP and Navision users. You're just going to substitute SQL for we have Business Central for the data source. The simple flow has been an absolute game changer for our clients for several years now. Do you need help automating your customer onboarding? If you need help automating your customer onboarding or any of your other processes, make sure you schedule your free automation audit today.